Hey yo, it's the one, the only Coach Flo back at it again on another episode of Generational Investors with a special guest on today's episode, the one and only Miss A.Flo. Yes, my special wife. Yes, she is decided to jump on this episode, and we just wanted to of a series, mental health, as we know that health is wealth. And I know talk about financials and stocks and saving money, but it's also important to invest in your health. And so we just wanted to talk with you guys today and hopefully get you kind of thinking if you haven't considered to invest in your mental health, because when your mind is right, everything else flows. All right. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Ashley Flournoy. I am Mrs. Coach Flo, Mrs. Generational Investor. So I am a licensed professional counselor here in Houston, Texas. I am the owner of Guided Transformation Counseling Center. I opened it about 3 years ago. I've been doing this work for about 9 years, however. I am a major advocate for mental health and investing in your mental and emotional health. Much like he just said, if your mind's not right, it doesn't matter what else is going on in your life. You can have everything else together, but if you're struggling mentally or emotionally, it's going to have a huge impact on the rest of your life. So I've been doing this work for about 9 years now. I specialize with anxiety and depression issues, life transitions. If you're just getting married, maybe getting divorced, you're just becoming a parent or an empty nester, starting a new job, moving to a new city, things of that nature. I mostly do individual counseling, but I also do couples counseling as well. I'm very passionate about what I do. I love what I do, and I actually see it as a ministry. We are believers as well, believers in Christ, and I see it as a vehicle for the Lord to use me to be able to impact people in their everyday life.
Right. And why is it important to invest in mental health? Why do you think it's important to invest in mental health?
Much like we were just saying, your mind is right, then everything else is going to be right. If your mind isn't right, then it's going to be difficult to live this life. Investing in your mental health, to me, is just as important as investing in your physical health. And what I noticed is a lot of people are okay with people saying to invest in your physical health if they tell you to eat well, if they tell you to work out, if they tell you to go to the doctor when something's wrong. Nobody bats an eye at that. But the minute that sometimes we start to talk about investing into your mental and emotional health, there's a stigma around it. And there's been a huge stigma around it. I feel like now we're cutting the corner on that stigma, and people are getting more comfortable with coming to therapy. But in the past, especially in our culture, or sometimes people tell me cultures of people of color, that it's a stigma, that it's just something we don't do. We don't go to therapy. You pray about it if you're a believer. If you're not a believer, you be strong and you truck it through. But we're seeing now, especially in this age of technology where we have social media, where knowledge is easily, forgive me for lack of a better word, I'll just say we use social media to knowledge out there. Now people are seeing that there's benefits in it, that it's something that can be beneficial to you. I think it's important because it's a part of your body. Your brain is a part of your body. So you're okay with tending to your physical health. What's wrong with tending to your mental or emotional health?
I agree. And with what's been transpiring throughout this year and just really the past, I would say, few years, look at the school shootings. Look at what happened in Lakewood. That's about a few weeks ago. And with these, and I look at guns, and some people say, oh, I think we need to put restrictions on guns, and we're not going to get into all to that, but when you look at the psyche of a person, think of those who are struggling and then they go not taking their medicine, their meds, and all those things. How do you feel about those situations when you got the school shootings and you have churches now again?
Well, we live in a broken world. We live in a fallen world. Unfortunately, those things are becoming more commonplace. We would have never thought. When I say 20 years ago, y'all, I'm thinking of like the 90s, but 20 years ago was like 2004. But I'll say 30, 40 years ago, you would have never thought that schools would be a place where people would walk into and open gunfire. It's surely church. You would never think that someone would have the mindset to go into a church and do that. But unfortunately, we see it happening, right? I think it's important to note that when we have these incidents, that someone who may be mentally ill or somebody who is mentally unwell doesn't necessarily mean that they're violent. So the first thing people will say is mental health is real. People, you need to check on your people. Mental health, throw that out there when something like that happens. But people who are struggling mentally aren't always violent. So let's put that out there. But, you'll see that sometimes individuals in our families, in our schools, in our communities, where there's things going on with them and we just don't know how to approach those things. We don't know how to say, hey, what's going on with you? I notice your behavior is going strange, or we just kind of chalk it up to, so-and-so is whatever, or you always to yourself, or you always was a little off or something like that. And realistically, we will say things like that, not taking into consideration that there is the possibility that if the mental health or the mental illness goes unchecked or it grows, that could be something that's possible. When you see these families, the perpetrators get on the news and they're, we would have never thought, or this and that. You just don't know. So I guess to wrap it all up, to answer your question, is that if you see that someone is struggling mentally, if you see that they're doing strange things, it doesn't hurt to start having conversations. If you're a parent or your grandparent, your aunt or your uncle, to start having conversations with people and say, what's going on, or try to be a support to them. If needed, yes, get them into therapy. If it's something more intense, get them into an intensive outpatient therapy, or if really intense, then an inpatient psychiatric facility to assist, because if we don't, we see those things happen in our communities.
Which I'm glad you said that, because next question, what advice would you give to those who are struggling, those who are undecided about seeing a therapist, skeptical, those who, because we have some young people, my young viewers out here, who are going through all types of stuff that we would never have gone through 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
Think about with anxiety. Think about depression and those who are suicidal. What advice would you give to those who are struggling or undecided to see a therapist or counseling?
I would tell you, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I use this example constantly. If you go outside and you trip on a rock and you break your leg, no one is going to say, oh, no, just go home, put some ice on it. It looks like it's broken. Spray on it and you should be fine. Most people are going to say, hey, we need to get you to a hospital. We need to get you to a doctor. Depending on the severity of it, you might go to your local urgent care, your local ER. If it's really severe, you might end up having to have surgery. The same thing happens when you are experiencing mental or emotional pain, or you're dealing with emotional wounds. If something happens, it's okay to go to someone and say, I'm not well. This hurts. I'm in pain. I'm feeling anxiety. I'm feeling depression symptoms. What should I do, right? And so some people may feel like, I don't want to pay anybody to go and tell them my problems, which if you come to that conclusion, that's fine, but talk to somebody. At the lowest of us, talk to somebody, talk to a trusted family member or friend and let them know what's going on with you. If you say, I'll talk to people, or I don't have anyone to talk to, it's okay to reach out and do therapy. Now we have different companies out here like Alma. I'm a part of Alma. You have companies like Headway or Grow Therapy or Octave. These are different companies that you can go to. You can type in your information. They will find a therapist in your area. If you have insurance, they will find or match you up with someone with your insurance. If you don't have insurance, but you work, a lot of companies now have what we call EAP programs, Employee Assistance Programs, where they will offer their employees a set number of sessions for free, depending on the issue, actually. And not just for you, but anyone in your household. So there's so many companies out there. You think, oh, I work here. I don't know about that. A lot of them have it, right? And so then I also tell people with the sliding scale options, where some therapists offer sessions on a scale where you don't maybe have to pay the full price, or you can look at it as an investment. If we will go get our hair done, if we will go get our nails done, if we'll go get our lashes done, if we'll go get a cut, if we'll go get a fresh fit, and we do that every 2 weeks, what's wrong with investing in your mental health? Take the time out to do whatever you need to do to make you feel better. It's nothing wrong with it. Listen, we just came out of a pandemic, right? You're talking about a lot of change suddenly, right? So nothing else. We were all affected by the pandemic, but we're affected by daily life. Things are going on. Life be life. Things happen, right? So you're in relationships, you're in school, you're in families. You have all kinds of different hurts that people are dealing with, all kinds of wounds that we have emotionally. It's nothing wrong with talking to someone about that. You do have to find the right person. I tell my clients all the time, you have to find the right person. And I've heard recently from a lot of clients that it's difficult to find a good therapist. A lot of people want to see people that look like them. A lot of people want to find people in their area. The time schedule is an issue. Do your due diligence and try your best to find someone. And if it doesn't work, let's put this out here too, because some people say, oh, I went to therapy, I tried that. You could try again. If I go to a beautician and I don't like how she do my hair, I'm not gonna stop doing my hair. I'm gonna just find someone else. If you go to a therapist, it's not what you expect. And be okay with letting them know what you're looking for as well, right? Because you may be able to tailor it with that person that you found. But if it's not, don't be afraid to find someone else. If you go to a doctor or a dentist and you don't like them, you're not going to say, well, that's it. I'm not caring for my teeth anymore. That's it. I'm not going for checkups anymore. You're over here sick, but you went to that one doctor and I didn't like them. So that's it. You're going to find someone else. And I know it's a little bit different because you're telling them all of your personal business and it's like starting all over, but it's worth the investment. I probably answered that question in a very long way, but I would say to anyone, if you're struggling mentally or emotionally, it's okay to go talk to someone about it. Don't let anyone talk you out of getting the healing that you need, because it is an investment in your life. And don't be afraid to do it.
I like it. And then we talk about community and support. It's just with so much that's going on, and like wife said, life be life, and you have all the different trauma, PTSD, that baggage that you carry. Tell them how you feel that community is much needed. The support is much needed.
Guys, community is so important. If you look at studies, even people who come to therapy, right, and they're making headway in therapy, they're making improvement, community is going to be that added layer of protection almost. People who have community tend to fare out better than people who don't, right? But you got to find the right community. That's key, right? I just read this morning, bad company corrupts good morals. You have to be around the right people who are going to push you in the right direction, people who are going to hold you up and say, I got you. People are going to say, you know what, let's talk about that. I noticed you were looking a little sad. I noticed that you haven't been yourself. Hey, I noticed a change in you. Let's talk about it. Let's pray about it. Let's go do something together. Let's get out the house. You need people who will be support. The number one thing people want to do when they're feeling depressed is isolate. They want to isolate, right? Because it feels safer to isolate, especially if what has put you in depression has been a hurt, whether that's a relationship hurt, a job hurt, friendship hurt, church hurt. You lost somebody, you're grieving, right? The number one people want to do is they want to go in, they want to isolate. And in a sense, that can be okay to a certain degree, right? You might need some time. There are seasons where you do need to isolate, or you do need to come from out that crowd or that group. But in a general sense, community is important because it's going to help you hold yourself up when you're in a time where you're feeling like, I just want to fall out. I want to fall down. It's going to hold you up. So you need those people. Community is important. That's why it's important if you're in school to find good friends. If you're at your job, now that's a little tricky because you can't have friends at your job. You can find people who but it can be tricky with finding friends at your job. But wherever there's people, to try to seek out a community or a sense of support. Prayerfully, you always hope that it's your own family, right? Your family, right? But that's not always the case, unfortunately. So if it's not your family, right? If you can't find it in your immediate family, your parents, your siblings, your grandparents, your relatives, your cousins, aunts, uncles, look in these other places where you frequent, right? The things that if you have hobbies, if you like going to the gym, you like going to workout classes, if you like shopping. I tell people all the time, there's every group under the sun on Facebook for people who have all kind of interests. When you find community, helps. So don't be afraid to come out of your box and look for community. There's a group out there for whatever you're interested in. And people are interested in all kinds of things, but it's very beneficial And it definitely will help improve your mental health when you have good, solid people around you. Not bad company, but good company.
And I just definitely want to say, always check in. Always check in with family. Always check in with your friends. You just never know what a person is thinking. You just never know what a person is going through. And I just want to thank you for stopping by.
You're welcome. You're so welcome.
Thank those who if you're new to the channel and consider yourself subscribing to the channel. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that, because this is the first of many. All right. I want to continue to keep this conversation going. We're going to get some more people in on the panel. I got to lift a lot of things down the pipeline I'm working on. And so I say there is more in store in 2024.
Hello.
And just want to thank you for stopping by. See you in the next one. Peace.